Hello and welcome to the Orca Institute's video series. In this series we're going to have a variety of methods and techniques, some of them related to hypnotherapy and hypnosis and some of them sort of related but not directly. I'd like to talk to you today about what is hypnosis. And most people think hypnosis is a state of relaxation, where you're calm, where you're focused, when you're breathing slow. You can call daydreaming a hypnotic state. But I'd like to talk to you today about an aspect of hypnosis that most people aren't aware of, and that is hypnosis in a state of anxiety or extreme stress. And I'll give the example of someone in a panic attack. In that situation, they are in a state of highly focused attention. Now, you can make the argument that hypnosis, as far as a good definition of it, is a state of highly focused attention, whether we're focused inward or outward. We're focused pretty much on one thing. And in that state, we can be relaxed and calm and focused, as most people are aware of, or we can be in a high state of anxiety. Now, when someone is in a high state of anxiety, all their energy is going outwards. But it's usually focused on one thing. It's focused on trying to get out of that situation. People who've been in panic attacks quite often describe that event as feeling like they were going to die. So there's a tremendous amount of fear during an experience like that. And so all of their attention becomes very narrow, very focused on one thing, getting out of that situation. So hypnosis is a much broader area. It's a much broader term than most people are familiar with. And here we come to another term. Now, the words trance and hypnosis are basically the same thing. So another way of looking at this is trance with awareness and trance without awareness. What do I mean by that? Trance with awareness can be described as someone going into trance, aware of sensations, experiences, and a focus usually directed inward. Trance without awareness, you might make the argument that someone in a high state of anxiety, as we talked about, is in a state of trance without awareness, wanting to escape, not being very aware of what's happening within the framework of their body because so much energy is being expended to get out of their bodies, away from the pain. Trance without awareness. I'll describe a client I once had who came into my office very agitated, in a very high state of anxiety, wouldn't even sit in his chair. I was behind a desk back then, and he came up to my desk, put both hands on it, looked at me very intensely, and started talking very quickly, telling me all about his various experiences before he came here. And as he was breathing very short, right up here, and he was nodding his head. Now, I knew if I attempted to relate to him normally, it wouldn't have much effect. He probably wouldn't really notice me there. So I had to find a way to break through his trance without awareness to help him come back into a trance with awareness, to come back into himself. And so as he was nodding his head and talking very quickly and breathing very shortly, I stood up from my chair and I made eye contact, and then I quickly looked away for a moment, and I looked back, and then I sat down. And immediately he responded with confusion. He wasn't sure what really was happening. I wasn't responding the way he expected me to. And after a few moments, he decided to sit down, and he started breathing a little more slowly, talking a little more slowly. We made some eye contact, and we had a great conversation from that point onwards. He went from a state of highly focused attention, but without awareness. And once his pattern was broken, he allowed himself to relax, sit back in the chair, and in effect shifted from one quality of trance to another quality of trance with awareness. And at that point, it was easy to communicate. In a way, he also learned how he could deal with some fears. Fears of not being understood, fears of not being able to communicate. So trance with awareness, trance without awareness. The average person in the street right now, walking down the street, is in a state of trance without awareness. They're thinking about what they have to do an hour from now. They're thinking about what happened the other day. They're thinking of pretty much anything, and they're focused on pretty much anything that is outside of themselves. So the ability to come back to ourselves, come out of the trance without awareness into trance with awareness, makes us more effective, helps us deal with stress throughout the day, allows us to be more focused, and to breathe. Many of the techniques we'll be covering in this series relate to what I just talked about, and you'll find that there are many different methods to create pretty much the same effect, but in different ways. And variety is always nice, because what works for one person doesn't always work for the next person. And never forget that you have the power and ability to create your own method. All it takes is information.